billing system to be working with?
This does not include a billing component or the software for the billing. Right now, it would be compatible with our current system, which is AS400, which is pretty antiquated. So we would look at replacing the billing system, particularly, and that it's less than $50,000, probably in the 20s, to replace that billing system. But we're evaluating that right now.
So whether you use Oracle or SQL would depend on, it doesn't matter what billing
We've
system or what
integrated
order
with
system?
over 60 different billing systems. It's a file, and we just have to create the format
And we do have
from the different billing systems.
We have taken bids and received them back from a number of vendors on the billing and payment systems that they were looking at. BS&A is one that a lot of other communities are a Michigan-based company that BS&A is one that's used a lot. So I wasn't involved in taking the bids, but I do want to examine that because they're local. And a number, I think four communities in the surrounding us that have a system are using BS&A, and we're also using it currently in other areas of the city.
What about the work order system? Is that you're using, is that the same as the AS400?
Our work order system is Microsoft CRM program, so
Okay.
that's a little different.
Would you continue to use that with this?
Yes, that's how everything would be assigned to work order for these and switch outs.
So the new billing system that you're talking about getting would be able to interact with the CRM as well?
Correct.
Yes. Okay.
That would be our hopes. And like I said, we've got proposals, and I've looked at them preliminarily, but just the billing side of it, they did it so that the billing could be separate from taking payments. Currently, payments are taken in the water department or sent to the treasurer's office, and they come to us, and we process them and give the deposit to the treasurer's office. So they actually took a bid for a third party doing that whole process. So that's a payment process. They took the billing software out because the AS400, though it will work with this system, isn't, it's old and antiquated. And there's so much more we could do with it with an updated system. So BS&A is one that's, like I said, local, and it works with a number of other communities. And then we have other billing software that put forth the bid. But the cost of that, like I said, probably just on the billing side would be $20,000 to $50,000 or less. So in comparison to the project itself, it's pretty minor.
So we're looking at, basically, if we start this, if we ended up finishing this, you're looking at about $6.5 million.
Correct.
And would that be paid 100% out of our water fund?
No, it would be factored in over a period of years into the water rates is what I would propose. Because basically, if we did $6.5 million out of our reserves, we would pretty much wipe out the water department. We have about $8 million in the water department right now, and this is paying over a period of time. So I would say what we would look at doing is capitalizing it or filling so much of it, putting so much into the rates each year for a period of time. And what I've looked at is probably 4 years or 5 years.
So we would raise our water rates a little bit.
Yeah, a small amount. And we're talking about very minor amount.
Well, you might not even see that if, the efficiencies go up, because I know for a fact, the old meters, I did the, City of Detroit for the Tiger Stadium. We took it down from 6-inch meters and we put them 1.5 meters just so they could get a more accurate reading. So with the new meters, we're going to be, the revenue's going to be in there.
That's correct. But I don't, for a project, I don't want to sell it based on
Right, I understand that.
efficiency.
But when everybody hears we're going to increase water rates, City of Detroit's doing it to us enough.
Well, right, but we're becoming more accurate, so
Right.
it squeezes that amount down.
The software, we can also do analysis. If you increase the rate, because we have all the usage, once you have some usage in the system, there's a standard report, a rate report, that you can put in the software, and it'll calculate if you wanted to increase your rate 1%, what revenue you would generate.
So you're going to be able to
standard report is in there.
transfer our historical data from this AS400 into this new program to be able to analyze that, or you have to Or we have to
We
wait?
can do lots of things with the software.
Okay.
It's just time.
All right.
If you want to migrate the old software, there wouldn't really come into the system, but we can if you need to do that.
What we would probably do is, because we factor the rates, or we determine the rates based on, you know, our expenses and revenue and those type things. So we have a formula, we get the rates from Detroit Water and Sewer. So initially, we would factor in whatever amount it would be, whether it, say it was 800,000, I'm just throwing this out. We would factor in $800,000 in that revenue scheme for year one. And then year two, we would actually have, we would have the data in the system to which to make a, where we can use the system.
You can use the
actually
system,
help us.
you can set up a rate, it's got, you have probably service fees and so forth, it has all, you can create up a rate plan, and then based on the usage of the system, it does, that's why it's called analytic software. It does that for you, it'll calculate the rate for you. And that's a standard report, and you can customize it if needed.
And, you know, you can run all kinds of scenarios regarding, you know, how many years and what you want your payback to be. I looked at it at about a 4-year payback because that was the time I was targeting to switch out all the meters. Now this is, if you were doing you were just doing an amount. If you did like $3.5 million over 4 years and you spread it over 21,500 meters, you'd be talking about $3 a month. That's if you did it that way. But if you factor it into the water rates, it actually is better because your bigger users, your 10-inch meters, your hospitals, your malls, your bigger folks would actually bear more of that burden. That's why you could either do it as a monthly surcharge, or you could do it factored into the rates where the bigger customers would bear more of that burden because they're using more of that water.
And Dave, if I could interject,
Sure.
one of the things to give council some level of comfort, prior to bringing this to you for approval, we will have an implementation plan, and part of that plan will include all of these details. You know, how are we going to handle the installations? We'll likely, probably hold even a public hearing or a public forum, because this is going to generate a lot of speculation, the same thing that the smart meters did. You know, we don't want people after the fact, after we agree to launch into this program, coming and saying, we don't want you doing this, or you know, so we want to educate them. We want to make sure that they're aware of it, and of course, we want to make sure that we have all of our ducks in a row. And so, as part of that, when you spend $6 or $6.5 million in total, we will roll out an implementation plan to City Council, so that City Council is fully aware of, you know, not just the timeline, but the how and the who and the how many and the how much, and all those questions that are being asked today. So, you know, again, prior to this coming to you, you guys will see that, and we will hold some type of public forum.
Do you have an estimation of when we'll receive this proposal? Or?
I mean, soon. I mean, now it's a matter of, I know that these folks were in town, and you know, I don't know which group is not from the area, but I know that, you know, part of, you know, we just wanted to do it so that that we could meet their timeline. Now we'll work on the implementation plan, and then once we get that in place, we will likely, you know, conduct some kind of a meeting, whether it's here at the senior center. You know, because when you're going to start accessing the homes of residents and putting in new meters, we want to make sure that they know what to expect, who's going to do it. Is it going to be the city of Taylor? Is it going to be some outside firm? And so, you know, I would say, you know, within 4 to 6 weeks, we'll likely see this on the agenda.
Etna's local based, Census does have a local representative or a couple on, and then we travel 100% of the time.